Okay, y'all, look at this man right here. This is Judge Bill Price. And as you can see, he's running for judge again in Coppers Cove, Texas.
I'm Bill Price from Coppers Cove, and 31 years ago, I made a contract. And if you want to read my contract, open the Old Testament to the book of Micah, chapter 6, verse 8. That you do justice, love mercy, and walk humbly before God.
See how nice and friendly he is, even talking about God. So let me tell you where I made my mistake. I made my mistake when I trusted him. You see, this man looked like the nice, old, cute grandpa, righteous. You can trust him kind of man, right? Here's what happened. I got a speeding ticket one time, speeding while in a construction zone. So instead of me wasting the city's money to get a jury trial, I was like, Judge Price, this guy is cool. He's fair. He's nice. I'll just get a bench trial. I'll be able to present my evidence and everything will be fine. I'll trust this man to do the right thing. I couldn't have been more wrong. This is the charge that I have to prove to this nice, fair judge. It doesn't matter how nice he is, but fair, right? This nice, fair judge. So now we get to the prosecutor examining the witness, questioning the witness, right? So he testifies that, yes, I was speeding. He testifies that there were cones up, that the orange signs was up. He testifies to all of this, right? Of course he does. I pull up the code that they said that I violated, right? And I argued it point for point. I'll put it up right here. You look at it, you read it each one at a time. And I told him I broke none of these laws. The prosecutor rebutted none of them. Therefore, I proved that I was not speeding. This right here proves, to your honor, that I was not in a construction zone. Again, the prosecutor couldn't rebut any of my evidence. The prosecutor gave her final argument, which was basically the police said she was speeding. I closed. I gave my final argument saying, I presented you with your own laws. You can see here, I did none of those things. I also caused your witness to perjure himself on the stand. Because as you can see from the ticket that he wrote, I was not in a construction zone. Therefore, you must find me not guilty. Make no mistake, y'all, I had them scrambling in here. They were flustered the whole time. The judge grabbed his computer and followed me as I went down each law, each element that I proved that I never broke. After I finished, this nice, fair, God-fearing man, he said, well, ma'am, if you had just gone down to the next law, you would have seen there that we could charge you with this. It's called prima facie evidence. And with that evidence, if you would have went down that far, you would have seen that we can charge you with this. He was writing as he was talking, and he dare not look me in my face. It was right there, right then, that I knew the demon that I was dealing with. So the judge tried to help the prosecutor by arguing her case from the bench. And because he thought I didn't know what prima facie evidence was, he threw those words at me, threw that phrase at me, because he thought I wouldn't be able to come back to rebut what he said. So I came back and responded with this. No, that's not what prima facie evidence means. Prima facie evidence means that, yeah, you can charge me with something. You can use it as evidence against me as long as it looks like that on its face. You can do that unless it's rebutted. I am rebutting every charge that you have against me. Guess what he said? Don't argue with me, Miss Rantham. Now, listen to what he says right here. And this is exactly what he did.
I hear everybody. I want to hear everybody. When I see them walk out the door, I want them to be able to say, well, he didn't rule my way, but he did listen to me.
Now, of course I knew I had proven that I was not speeding. Of course I knew I had proven I was not in a construction zone. But I was in that courtroom by myself with the police officer who brought these charges, with the prosecutor who knew she lost the case. But as she looked over to the judge and she looked in his eyes like, I'm going down here, help me. He argued the case from the bench and tried to convince me that I had not met my burden. You do understand that it wasn't my burden to prove that I was not speeding. It was on them to prove that I was speeding. So they came in there with no evidence, absolutely none, just the word of a policeman against my hard evidence that proves that I wasn't. And this nice, fair man, Judge Price, who's running for judge again right now, who's trying to convince you that you should trust him to continue in what he's doing. So this nice, righteous, fair judge charged me with speeding, and he said that he would not charge me with being in a construction zone. So I was found half innocent and half guilty on one charge of speeding while in a construction zone. Now, I know what they were doing in there was illegal. I know what they did to me was illegal. And of course, when I went in to get the audio and the video of it, they conveniently don't record those sessions. Ultimately, as you can see here, this case was thrown out in the appellate court because they never had, Judge Price and the prosecutors, they never had any evidence to begin with. So stay tuned as I show you how the encounter with this man right here set the stage for the next few years for targeting, harassment, false arrest, false prosecution, false imprisonment by the people that you trust here in Copperas Cove in Coryell County, Texas.